Hey guys, this is Zero. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have a discussion topic and I'll have a pretty exciting replay in the background as I am talking about my discussion piece. Anyways, let's get to it. So, lately I've been playing on the EU server for random battles, for the campaign that is going on, and I think I also took part in an advance. Basically, what I would like to cover today is the difference between the EU and the NA servers. So, if you're on NA, a lot of people are like, oh, we should definitely be able to go play on the EU server. It's so much better. It's like the NA server is absolutely awful, and the small server population causes a lot of issues. Well, sure, there are definitely problems. However, in the grand scheme of things, I wouldn't say one server is better than the other. All I will say is that they're different. On the EU server, players are overall a lot more aggressive, so the games end a lot faster typically, or at least most of your team or most of both teams will be dead pretty early on in the match. The only way to really do a lot is either be top tier or and just W key because the game will be over so quickly, or just camp in the back because people are just going to YOLO in anyways, and uh, and you're just going to be able to farm damage. When it comes to win rate though, I've found it's very, very hard to win on the EU server because you can't play strong positions because you might end up just being randomly YOLO'd by the enemy team. Like people just throw their tanks away. It's quite frustrating actually. So it's hard to get win rate, hard to get a good DPG as well because the games are, I would say, very unpredictable because you can't like flanks fall very quickly and you might end up with random tanks in random positions. For example, on the minimap, you already see the Moisen in the middle instead of in the heavy area. Also, one of the things that I have found a lot is on EU, people are always drowning. Like, I don't know what it is. I swear, there's typically 2 or 3 people that drown per game if there's water, and it makes it. I won't say it even makes sense. Like, artillery for sure, but there's just other tanks that if the game is just going too long, they'll just go drown. And it makes the games very, very unpredictable. Uh, how that compares to the North American server is the games themselves are typically a lot slower. People are much more campy, like they like to stay in the back. They don't like to lose any hit points. And on EU, people just drive in. They might do one-shot damage, they'll drive in, die. They don't care. And like you might have a 4 tank advantage, but they might just drive into 1 tank and all of them die because they're just not doing anything useful. So that is definitely one of the biggest differences. Also, the overall player, like average player skill on North America is definitely better. That technically makes gameplay overall better just because, if you end up dying and you have some teammates alive, your teammates might actually be able to carry the game. Versus on EU, if you have teammates alive and you have an advantage, you should never believe that your win is secure. It's just not ever actually secure. Also, one of the differences I've noticed is that players don't communicate as much on EU. Maybe that's because of all the languages. But I've noticed on NA a lot of people like to communicate, and we'll see later in the game what I mean. Because, and here's an example though. Like, my team is just basically dead already. On airfield, games already move slowly, but my team is dying at a pretty fast rate. They're just kind of driving in and dying. And that's the other thing, like here, tier 9 heavy tank in the middle of airfield. Like, I don't even think he, I think he would still go there if there was artillery and he would just die. Like, that's the other thing is there's certain crosses that you can farm or get farmed on, and players still do them on the European server. On NA, you're not going to see people do those crosses because most of the players have wised up. That's how the difference in player skill, like average player skill, changes things. But like I was saying earlier, the actual like gameplay, there is a difference, but I wouldn't say one is better than the other. I want to say overall, EU is more frustrating when it comes to teammates and teams, but NA is more frustrating due to 3 artillery. So it's a give and take. Because like on EU, players just kind of drive in. On NA, people like to push their advantage when they see that it's a guaranteed win on that flank. So again, it's just different. That being said, I do think that there should be a way that you can roam between servers. Like that'd just be fantastic. Like you can uh play on EU during the prime time on your account and then play on NA in the prime time. And if you're awake for the RU prime time, then you should be able to do that too. Like overall, I think that would greatly increase population across all servers, and I think it would also, or at least the smaller servers, and I think it would also create some interesting scenarios. It also would allow for a legit global map, so that you'd be able to. There would literally be clan wars 24 hours in a day. So if some people want to play in the morning, or some people want to play at night, or if you wanted to fight a RU clan while on NA, or if you wanted to face an EU clan, or whatever combination, you'd have the opportunity. Oh, so the HP here, like, we'll start getting back into the game that you guys are watching. As you can see, like, people are kind of just driving in and dying from both teams. In this case, I've just been camping at the back the whole time. It's airfield. I saw that my team was dying. Typically, if I'm winning, I'll move up, but I literally had no reason to. Our IS-3 version 2 drove in. Our 62A is in a terrible position. In this case, it's 2v, what is that? 7? I'm sitting here just, I was so close to getting enough free XP to grab another tier 10. I was just frustrated because I just couldn't win. Didn't matter what I did. Of course, this wasn't the greatest game at this point. Like, I'd only done 1900 damage, and at this point 3 kills, but yeah. I was very happy that shot right there actually hit that 140. So, the GSOR, I did a review on it. I will drop the link in the description for the GSOR review. I I went much more in depth on the tank there. Right now, I have I think it's a 41-second reload. So I was just trying to stay safe up until these other tanks show up. So it was a 1v6, I think, and or 1v7. I don't even know. Anyways, I'm sitting here, got my full clip reloaded now. And this is what's coming up is what I'm talking about. On EU, teammates don't really communicate. Like, you won't have people say, wait for me, or let me take the hits, uh, or anything like that. I do finish that Scorp G off, and I proxy this T-57. I'm not actually sure. I think I hit his engine deck. Like, that was a lucky shot, I have to say. Anyways, it's back down. It's now down to 1 versus 3. The hit points are actually... It's not a one clip, so I actually am sitting here waiting, like almost halfway through my 40-second reload, and just wondering when are two tanks going to appear and I don't have a clip. I also have a Top Gun at this point, and like I'm looking at the hit points and I'm wondering, can I actually get this? I was actually quite surprised that that guy showed up behind me. I am a one-shot to him, so I'm trying to be very careful with what I do. I also don't want to expose because the STRV could be at F0 and then he could shoot me in the side. So I'm doing my best to stay as hidden as possible. So at range, this thing doesn't have much pen, but at this close range, I have plenty of pen. It's probably like 319 or 320 out of the 300. It's 321. So at that range is probably 321, if not 320 then, because it was just so close range. Anyways, I still have 3 shots left. And I actually predicted that Type 61 very well. And I get the kill and I instantly go for the reload. So now it's a 1 versus 1 and 3 minutes left. So back to the main discussion topic. With even with the actual competitive play, there's some differences. I wouldn't say one is better than the other. Strategies overall, they do differ just because you're countering what the meta is, or you're running with the meta of each server. So, like, and it doesn't exactly translate one server to another. So, if you try to run EU meta on NA, it might not work as well as NA meta on NA, and the other way around. The other thing that I should mention is I'm actually bottom tier in this game. Like I legit, I'm carrying this in a super long reload loader and a bottom tier tank destroyer. But this is what airfield is for you. So at this point, 2-minute warning. I'm thinking, where can this STRV be? Is he just going to camp me? Is he going to try to cap? And then when he doesn't show up on cap, that's when I'm like, I don't know where this guy is. So I decide to risk it for the biscuit. The thing is an STRV can just camo snipe. I might not even spot him before I die, so I was kind of sketched at this point, but I decided I wanted to win instead of draw. I knew he was around 1,000 hit points, which means I would have to hit and pen all 4 of my shells. So I can't take any snapshots, I can't do anything risky. I'm just headed towards last spotted because that's typically the best thing to do in general. I could have taken a different approach here because I was worried that he was just sitting on that perch spotting, but I don't think there was an approach that actually would have worked. And of course, with any Kolobanovs, some luck is required. There we go. My first Kolobanovs on the EU server, and my first Kolobanovs in general in quite a long time. So here's the after battle report. I got the Radley Walters, Kolobanovs, I think this is the, not Nadens, it's one of the ones where you destroy 2 vehicles one tier higher or more in a tank destroyer. Top Gun, Tank Sniper, 4,500 damage, 9 kills. It was a very solid game. Like I said though, yes, I was able to carry that game. One of the main reasons I was able to carry that was because there was no communication from the enemy team. They kind of just drove in one by one. And of course, I was lucky at the end with an AFK STRV. And on NA, maybe that wouldn't have worked out. But at the same time, on NA, I don't think I would have even ended up in a 1v5 scenario because either there would have been more tanks there on the enemy team, or my team would have been stomped even harder. So there we go. I think that about covers it between NA versus EU. My emphasis is they are different. Neither one is better per se. We'll also quickly look at the battle results. I didn't get the high caliber, even though I could have, and that would have been my 6th medal, which would have been nuts. Not the highest basic speed because that was a tank destroyer and I was sniping for most of the game. And I was firing all premium and I did have consumables. I think I was running a 6th Sense directive and food. And then all the premium ammo adds up. So I only made 57k profit. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about EU or NA, feel free to put them in the comments below. I will also drop my GSOR tank review also in the description. Go check that out if you guys are interested in seeing what the tank is capable of and how to play it and if it's worth. And yeah, I will see if I can get a more reasonable video schedule out there, and I will see you guys around.